Welcome back. I'm Pratap here. Today is the 24th November 2023. So let us generate demand and supply zones for 75 minutes time frame and a 15 minutes time frame. In the previous video, we have generated demand and supply zones for weekly time frame and daily time frame. Now let us generate demand and supply zones for 75 minutes time frame. Entry time frame is 75 minutes. Let us find the stocks which are near to the 75 minutes demand zone. So 11 stocks are filtered. We have IndusInd Bank as a high liquidity zone, fresh zone. We have JSW Steel is also high liquidity zone, fresh zone. And the LTTS is a high liquidity zone, but it is already tested 3 times. So we have identified 3 high liquidity 75 minutes demand zones. So let's go back. Entry time frame is 75 minutes. Let us find the stocks which are near to the 75 minute supply zone. So only 4 stocks are filtered. The first one is indices and we don't have any high liquidity supply zones. Okay, now let us generate for 75 minutes time frame. Let us generate bullish and bearish setup stocks. Let's start with bullish setup. 75 minutes time frame. Entry zone should be demand zone. And because this is 75 minutes, the HTF trend is weekly. That should be either uptrend or sideways. And the daily should be uptrend. And when it comes to the price direction, our HTF, that is on weekly time frame, should travel from demand zone to supply zone, and daily also demand zone to supply zone. It should be our first report for bullish setup. We should also select pierced count for 75 minutes time frame. Pierced count should be 0. We don't want pierced zones. I mean pierced demand zones. Let us filter. So we have identified 7 bullish setup stocks for 75 minutes time frame. This is our first report. We can generate 2 more reports. Let's go back. The second report, the price should travel from demand zone to all-time high on weekly, but daily it remains demand zone to supply zone. No stocks are filtered. And daily also for price should travel from demand zone to all-time high. So this is the filtered list. Let me scroll down. So total 32 stocks are filtered. So these are the bullish setup related stocks for 75 minutes time frame. Now let us generate bearish setup stocks. Let's go back. Entry time frame is 75 minutes. Entry zone should be supply zone because it is bearish setup. And the trend on weekly, this time it should be either down or sideways, HTF trend. And ITF trend is on daily time frame, it must be downtrend. And price direction, we have 3 conditions. First condition, price should travel from supply zone to demand zone on weekly time frame, and daily also supply zone to demand zone. We already set pierced count 0. So let us filter. So 6 stocks are filtered, which are supporting bearish setup on 75 minutes entry time frame. Let us look into the next 2 reports. Now we have to change only the price direction. What is the price direction on weekly? Instead of supply zone to demand zone, prices are traveling from all-time high to supply zone. Sorry, all-time high to demand zone. All-time high to demand zone. Daily we have 2 conditions. The first condition here is supply zone to demand zone. Let us generate. So 1 stock is filtered. So let's go back. Now, the third condition, daily also prices are traveling from all-time high to demand zone. No stocks are there. So this is about bearish setup. Now let's move on to 15 minutes time frame. So let us generate demand and supply zones for 15 minutes time frame. Entry time frame is 15 minutes. Let us find the stocks which are near to the 15 minutes demand zone. So 6 stocks are filtered. So let's go back. Entry time frame is 15 minutes. Let us find the stocks which are near to the 15-minute supply zone. So only one stock is filtered. But this is a pierced zone. Demand and supply zone both are pierced. Okay. Now let us generate a bullish and bearish setup for 15 minutes time frame. So entry time frame is 15 minutes. For bullish setup, entry zone should be demand zone. And for 15 minutes, HTF should be daily. So daily trend should be uptrend or sideways. And 75 minutes trend should be uptrend because this is bullish setup. 15 minutes, you don't bother about the trend. And when it comes to price direction, your daily price direction for bullish setup, the first condition is demand zone to supply zone. 75 minutes also demand zone to supply zone. And we don't want pierced zones. So setting the pierced count as for 15 minutes. This time 15 minutes pierced count 0. Minimum 0, maximum 0. That means we want only the zones having pierced count 0. Let us filter the stocks. The total 6 stocks are filtered. So now let us generate reports for the remaining 2 conditions in the bullish setup. What is the second report conditions? The price direction for HTF time frame. Here HTF is daily. Let us check there are any stocks moving from demand zone to all-time high. But 75 minutes in this condition, demand zone to supply zone. So 5 stocks are filtered. Now for bullish setup, as per the third condition, daily is demand zone to all-time high, but this time 75 minutes time frame, prices should travel from demand zone to all-time high. So in this condition, 13 stocks are filtered. So all these are all bullish setup related stocks for 15 minutes time frame. Now let us generate for bearish setup. In bearish setup, entry time frame is 15 minutes. Our entry zone should be supply zone. And for trend, the daily trend should be, either, because this is a bearish setup, either it should be downtrend or sideways for HTF time frame, that is daily. And ITF time frame, that is 75 minutes, the trend must be downtrend. And price direction, we have 3 conditions. So first condition, prices are traveling from supply zone to demand zone on daily time frame, that is HTF time frame, and also ITF time frame, that is 75 minutes time frame, also supply zone to demand zone. And pierced count we already set 0, so let us filter. So these 3 stocks are supporting bearish setup for 15 minutes time frame. This is the first report. Now let us look into the second report. What is the second report? The price direction on daily time frame should travel from all-time high to demand zone. 75 minutes supply zone to demand zone. Let us filter. No stocks are there. Similarly, let us change 75 minutes also all-time high to demand zone. Mostly you don't get the stocks. No stocks. So this is the list of bullish and bearish setup related stocks for both 75 minutes and 15 minutes in this report. So this is the end of the report. I wish this information is useful for your further study and analysis. Let us all meet again in our next video. Thank you.